everybody else on tonight. Um, before we get going, let's open in prayer. Well, here's Brad. Hey, Brad made it. Cool.
We got to get him to fill us in a little bit on some takeaways from the grounds this weekend.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I wonder if my other buddy that I know, if he actually made it to that. I know he was excited about it in the fall, or last summer. Actually, it was summertime. He had already signed up for it. So, hey, Brad, you made it. It's good, man. You might be audio only.
Or neither. Hello?
Yeah. Hey.
Hold on.
No, you're good. Hey, we're going to pray real quick, and then you can jump. We can hop in all together. Father God, we just thank you for tonight. This is the day that you have made. And tonight we just rejoice in this day. We rejoice in the life that you've given us. We rejoice in this brotherhood, Lord. We thank you for these awesome men that are on this call tonight and those that could not make it. Lord, we just lift up Mike and his family that are feeling symptoms of sickness in their bodies. We just call them healed right now in Jesus' name. And we thank you that you are taking care of them in all ways. And Father God, we thank you for the other men that are not on this call tonight, that you're with them as well. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Amen. All right. Go ahead, Brad. There you are.
I'm still at school.
Oh, you're still there?
Yeah, there's two kids waiting that don't have a ride, and it's a male and a female, so I'm not leaving.
I hear you. Good man. So we'll wait to get an update from you. We'll jump into having Aaron introduce himself to the gang tonight. So those who don't know Aaron.
Yeah.
A little bit about yourself, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, my name, I put a little bit of bio in the group, but yeah, I live in Rochester, New York. It's cold here, and I grew up here, born and raised. And, I mean, just kind of how I came across this group, like I've known Jeff and Tim for a while. I saw you guys start it last year, and I was just started working with a life coach. So I wanted to commit to that, but I committed to that for the year. Now that that's up, I don't know. I always wanted to jump in here and build a brotherhood. Like I totally love what you guys are doing. And I'm currently like looking for a new church home too. So like I haven't really had a good established community around me of brothers. I mean, I have like some friends here, but this is something that I felt like I've just had a strong need for in my life. So I'm excited to be here. I have a wife with 3 kids. We homeschool. We've got a dog, I have a business doing remodeling. So I do a lot of running. So I stay busy and active. But these are the types of things that I know that I need in my life to be the man that God wants me to be. So, I mean, I know some of you better than others, but I look forward to, being there for you guys and you guys being there for me and getting full benefit out of this group. So I'm excited.
And he's a Buffalo Bills fan.
Oh yeah.
He's already got his shirt.
This is from last year, but it still counts.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
It still works.
It does.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Figured Ben
Go
would
Chiefs. Go Chiefs.
Yeah.
Oh, we did beat the Chiefs this year, and I know we could do it again. So
yeah.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
I was kind of hoping the Raiders and Chargers would have tied last night.
Right.
I've never seen that before. That'd have been pretty awesome, but I figured
that'd
that
have been funny.
Yeah.
It was close. I stayed up and watched the whole thing. It was such a good game.
Oh, that's right. It's on late out there, isn't it? In the evening.
Oh yeah. It was after midnight. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I don't. That's the thing about, for me, East Coast, that I'm not that fond of is football games are like super late. They start late and they end really late. Where I felt like in Portland, it was the opposite. They started really early. You're like at work still and things are starting, and then they're half over by the time you get home. Uh, when I lived in Boise, it seemed like it was just the perfect time zone. It was mountain. So everything was, 2 hours or one. So you caught everything on the East Coast in perfect time. You caught everything on the West Coast, perfect time. I mean, it was just like, it was ideal.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, anyway, yeah, I don't stay up late for games anymore. I don't even care if it's a Clemson game. I'm like, I'm going to bed. I'm not staying up for this. So
The toughest one is during church because it starts at 10 o'clock here, most of them. So I'm like, I'm
right,
still in church. So usually
exactly.
about halftime by the time it's going. But
Yeah, for me that was
Everybody's got their AirPods in.
yeah. Like, why is everybody wearing AirPods at church?
Preach on. Preach,
Right.
you good.
Yeah.
Spirits with him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's right.
So, well, before we dive in to some of the topics that we wanted to talk about tonight, I just wanted to give a huge shout out, and I know he's not expecting this, so this will be even more fun. But just a shout out to Chris, man. He's really been kind of stepping up and helping out in a lot of ways. He's contributing a lot in the community, and I just wanted to honor him. I really believe that we are to honor each other and honor when we see something good. And so it's great for me to honor him individually, but even more so with you guys. And just so, Chris, I just wanted to honor you and say thank you, man, for helping out. Like when Aaron, I know I individually spoke to you about this, but for the group, when Aaron joined, Chris automatically added him to the general chat without us like having to say it. So it was cool because it's seeing that there's something that needs to be done and just jumping in and doing it. So I really appreciate that, Chris. And but anyway, before we get in tonight, Brad, are you in a place, or do you want to press pause on sharing your experience, the little after actions report of the proving ground?
He's driving now.
I think we'll take that as we'll press pause on that. We'll circle back to that later.
Oh, he gone.
Yeah, he turned his camera off. Oh no, he's back. Anyway, all right. Well, tonight, one of the things that we started the year.
I found unmute.
There you go. You
All
can
right.
jump in.
All right, yeah, that was so the proving grounds.
Yeah.
That was a ultimate team building experience. I don't know how many people have completed that yet, but it was definitely conquered some fear. Definitely got humbled. Definitely, had to overcome some mental struggles, because when I got there, my stomach started feeling sour. Like I ate something that was bad or something. I don't know what it was. I have no clue. But when after we got there, after we kind of took some courses and things like that, learned some things that to apply for on Saturday that we would need to use, and then I told my swim buddy, I was like, so I didn't want to tell the whole group, but I needed to tell somebody that, hey, I might need some help later. I was like, hey man, my stomach, something's not right. I'm not running a fever, but my stomach is not feeling well. I'm feeling really nauseous, and had supper, and I didn't want to just not eat anything. I wasn't hungry, but I got a small plate of and still I wasn't feeling any better. And then we did, I mean, I think this is something I can share. I'm not going to share like the gist of it, but like what we did, but there's a rope course there. I think that's kind of known through pictures and things. But we did this thing on the rope course that nighttime, and it was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. And then there's 2 stations, and we did the second one, and the second one's like you climb up the top of a telephone pole and jump into a trapeze bar, and it was pretty scary. And after they let me down on that one, I was like, oh my God. So I went to Chili, and I was like, hey, listen, I got to go back to bunk. Like, something ain't right. And on the way up, I started vomiting like uncontrollably. Like, telling you, it was, I could not, it's probably been years since I've thrown up like this, probably since college. Like, it was crazy. I was a little embarrassed, you know, but because I think he thought it was the rope course thing, but it wasn't. It was like, I knew something was up. So that night I did not sleep at all.
Wow.
And there was a green exit sign in the bunk that just like kept a lot of people up. But they came in like early in the morning, you know, we had to go do like PT and stuff. And I pushed through and I started feeling good, but for a little bit. But I pushed through and I made it. I even texted Jeff Friday night. I was like, look, man, I'm throwing up. I don't know what to do. And but so that part became like a just pushing through. And I started thinking about what Chad says, like, don't give your pain a voice and things like that. I was like, you know, I was bound and determined to finish it and all, but it was definitely a mental battle. And then you know, they applied pressure on us on what we did the next day, and it made things a little chaotic there. And but it definitely forged some friendships and teammates, and everything we did was applied to what you could take out into the real world. A lot of really great lessons. And one of the key words I will say that I got from the week was deliberate. And that's to be deliberate in the way you walk, the way you carry yourself, the way you take care of things, the way you talk, the way you speak to people. And there was one moment, so like at that morning when he got us up for PT, I was ready to go. I had everything on that I needed. And so I went out, I was ready to go. I went outside and I immediately got put in a push-up plank which he went over this the day before. Like, how am I helping my teammates? I'm not, you know, I'm not helping my teammates get ready. We had 2 minutes to get ready. Half of them are dragging inside. And what good am I doing out there by myself? If I'm ready, I should be helping somebody else. And so that was another big takeaway, was like, you know, putting others' needs before your own. And it was really valuable. I'm just really grateful for the experience, and I've been reflecting on it. I've just been reflecting on the whole thing ever since I left. So there's a guy I met named Jonah Bunch. He's a really good dude. I would like to try to kind of get him in this group, and but I'm going to do an Instagram live with him. He played football at Carson Newman, and so I'm going to try to do an IG live with him, and we'll kind of talk about some things as well. I think that'd be kind of fun to watch, hear his perspective. And but yeah, it was a heck of a weekend, y'all. I recommend it if you ever get a chance.
That's awesome. Well, one thing real quick, Tim, before that I would tell Brad, because I would imagine Aaron and Tim would echo this from a basic course, is allow yourself to process for a week, because it's just going to, there's so much stuff that's going to continue to churn through, and it just keeps getting powerful. So for me, and I learned this one from Jason, is just to sit in it and allow it to process, because you'll be able to communicate it better, and then you'll appreciate it more because you're letting it soak in versus trying to just feed it back out to people.
Well, something I started today, like we kind of journaled, you know, over the few days, but I'm like kind of rewriting it down, and I think that will also help. So I totally agree with you. And I'm just, I'm seeing situations where I can apply things that I've learned. Like, how would I handle this situation, or how would Chad handle this situation? Like, what did I learn at Bake or Proving Grounds that would help this? And so things like that are already coming up, and I really see the value in it.
So I was curious, you mentioned that, if I didn't misunderstand you, is that you conquered some fears and you were humbled at the same time. So I was just curious, like the fears that you were able to conquer, if you didn't mind like sharing a little bit of that. And then and maybe you haven't had, to Jeff's point, maybe you haven't had time to reflect back on, but my question is, and maybe that's just something for you to ponder, is those fears that you faced, have you seen or been able to identify like where those have come up or crept up in your life in the past and how it's held you back? And, so now that you've conquered them, you've been there, and how that'll help you in the future. And then the humbling aspect is kind of the same thing. Is that, where will that help you?
Yeah, I will say the humbling part I volunteered. He asked for the 2 strongest men in each group, or 2 strongest team members. And I volunteered as one, me and the other guy named Jonah. And we had to like fireman carry he on the way 100 yards down the field and wheelbarrow the way back. And Jonah carried me the whole way. And I'm 215 pounds. I mean, I'm not lightweight.
Yeah.
And the other group, and then so we were beating the other group, and then I got on the wheelbarrow race, and I know I was like probably dehydrated and all that, but this guy killed me. He smoked me on the wheelbarrow race, and I like by 40-yard line, I was like eating turf, and then switched with Jonah, and then he went about 20 more yards, and he was eating turf, and then I finished it out, but I felt like it put me in my place. I mean, I felt like a failure. And after that, we had to honor class 238 and do 238 push-ups. And I don't want to give too much away like about the mission we did. I mean, but this is kind of just PT stuff. But that, I felt the weight of causing our team or group to do that. And it felt, it kind of made me realize like, hey, I shouldn't have jumped up and did that. We should have like worked as a team to decide like, maybe what would be the best fit. Maybe not that I was even one of the strongest guys, you know what I'm saying? It's just,
Yeah.
But we, if it, a fireman's carry and me and Jonah, the 2 heaviest guys in our group, that's probably not the best fit for that challenge anyway.
Yeah.
And, conquering fears, a lot of the rope course stuff, and I had to rely on other people and not myself, and that's something that I probably just being an only child, growing up, and just some of the things I had to face in my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I look like. But just having to really we were kind of forced to rely on each other and work together. And so when I did have to do something that I felt scared to do, whether it was a rope course or maybe identifying something on the map, because several people got fired during our thing. And like I said, I don't want to give too much away about that, but has anybody done the Proving Grounds?
Not here.
No.
All right. Well, like in our platoon, there was like roles and people got fired and re-promoted and stuff like that. So it forced me to rely on others, and I'm not very good at that at all. I'm kind of I can do it myself kind of guy. So, and I don't need to be like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, for those who have been a part of that experience, I when I say that, I mean any kind of 3 of 7 experience, because I know most of us have been, or the three of us has gone to the basic course, is relying on the team. For me, it's like, okay, how do I apply that in real life? And this will relate to the rest of you guys is, my team can be my accountability partner. It could be my wife. It could be my kids. It could be whomever, whatever the situation may be. And Brad, I love that you said that, because I think as husbands, as fathers, as men in general, we just want to step in and just do something and take care of it or whatever, when we have others who might have our spouse might have a better way of approaching a situation or dealing with something. And yet, our pride and our ego gets the best of us. And, something that honestly, I didn't learn real well, but it was given to me on my wedding day, and I was too much ego and too much pride to lean into it. And the advice that I was given was, listen to your wife. She knows what she's talking about. Like not just my wife, just in general, listen to your wife, because God speaks, and this is what he said, God speaks through our wives things that we cannot hear or receive. And so he speaks to her in a way that we need to yield to that and lean into that. And I've not done a really good job of that in the past. And so when speaking in that regard, she's my teammate in life. And yet I'm not allowing, the teammate to have a voice or to have a say. And I know Chad mentioned it in the teams, and I've seen it with other, team guys, where they talk about, like, even though they might be the lead guy, the LPO, it's like, but somebody else over here might have a better idea, and they'll listen to that because it makes the whole team better versus that one guy just trying to be a butt about everything. So I'm sorry, you were saying something, Brad?
In regards to that, like, I definitely will let my ego get in the way sometimes when my wife is trying to maybe not set me in my place, but tell me what I need to be doing. So I get that.
And that's back up to that up, in and out thing, right? As long as we know we're going up to God, and we can use discernment. Like if she comes in and says something, we have to make sure that we're hearing from God too. Like, what is God telling me? And, I'm the king of our domain. I'm the priest of our domain. And so I need to be making sure that I'm going up. And a lot of times when she'd come to me and say something to me, she's right. And I didn't want to receive it because I wasn't going up, and I didn't have the same, the same thought process because I wasn't taking that time. So, we just need to be mindful of that and discerning.
But that's it for now, and I'm sure in a couple of weeks when we meet again, I may have something totally different to say.
Yeah, probably. That's good. Well, that's really actually a great segue into what we were going to talk about tonight. And so thank you, Brad, for sharing that. And we kicked off the year last year, January, our first call. We talked about setting goals and setting plans for your year. And we did a mid-year check-in, and back in December, we talked about, like, hey, what were some of the things that was taken away we liked? I think that was one of them, is doing that mid-year check-in, kind of like, hey, where are we at? Refocus, reset. Like, are we in tune with our goals? Do we need to readjust? And so we did that mid-year. I think that's going to be a regular thing. I would like that to be a regular thing moving forward. But since it is the first of the year, we definitely wanted to kick it off with, like, just reestablishing. Most of you may have already done this, which is cool. And some of you are still maybe trying to figure it all out, and that's cool too. And so one of the things that we wanted to do is create something that gives you tools and kind of resources to use. And I'll share my screen real quick because there's a few things that I've been trying to use. I'm not the best at it, to be just honest with you about it, but it's something that I believe in. And so I'm trying to do better at it because I know that I'll be more efficient in accomplishing things when I am. And so I read this book just to kind of give a spotlight on this book. It's called The 12-Week Year. And it's basically getting more done in 12 weeks than most people get done in a year. And the premise of that is creating 12-week blocks, and that you only focus on 3 or 4 things. And probably, like, I think the book actually even says even just down to 1. Like if you just accomplished 1 and you did that each quarter or each 12 weeks, or what they call a year, you'd accomplish 4 things. Most people will set 10 things for the year. Like I got 10 goals this year, and they'll go through their entire year. And then come October, they're like, oh crap, I got distracted. So they try to cram in a few things and they get maybe 2 things done. So the idea is to really kind of just bring your focus to just a few things so that you're not scatterbrained. And I've been trying to do that more, especially someone who's kind of ADHD tendencies and I hate squirrels, but I love the mental squirrels for some reason. I like chasing them. So anyway, so there's some documents that this kind of book kind of helps break down, and I created them for us and to use, and I call it just a battle plan. So I'll share with you kind of an example of what I did. And the idea of it is to create a plan and then execute on the plan. And I had it sitting right here, doggone it, and now it's gone. But I had a plan for our running, and it's probably buried over here. Our running plan for our training, and it was 12 weeks. And the cool thing about it is that I knew it was on paper. And so there it is right there. So all 12 weeks was scripted out. So we knew every single day what the run was going to be. And then what I did was I kind of microed that down to just the week. So back here, as you can see that black blob back there, I would write down for the week just what I have for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And so I had the big plan, but then I narrowed it down to each week. So now I could just focus on, okay, this is what I got to accomplish this week. But it was also good to have the bigger plan to know, like, oh, I've got a 4-hour or an 18-mile run coming up. Where do I want to do that at? What's my nutrition going to be like? What am I going to plan for? So I could still put some thought or focus to it while still, not losing sight of this week. Because I think sometimes in goals, we start to think too far down the road. We start doing things and we forget, like, what are the activities I need to do this week to get to that 18-mile run or that 4-hour run or whatever. And so having that plan just really helped stay on track. The cool part about it too was, in that situation, the runners in the call can tell you, like, you got to also listen to your body and, like, take a break when you need to take the break or whatever. But it's also something like, okay, I needed to take a break at week 4, but the break wasn't until week 6. So I took that break, but yet I know now, like, what I need to go do. I don't need to, like, okay, what do I do now? I took 3 days off. Now what do I do? Well, I just get back on plan. And so speaking of, like, 3 of 7, one of the things that they talk a lot about is execute, execute, execute. Well, you can't execute if you don't have a plan. And I said something to a coaching client that I have, she said, she's tired of willy-nilly it. And we've been talking about a plan for a while. And she's like, oh, well, I'm finally tired of willy-nilly it. I said, it's hard to execute on willy-nilly, but it's a lot easier to execute a plan when like, precisely, like, what do I have coming up? What's week 1 look like? What's week 2 look like? So one of the resources for that is, and I'll just share kind of what.
Real quick, Tim, before
Yeah.
we go into that one, I'd love to get everybody's comments on, how you have typically in the past, if you have set plans for the year, what kind of things have you guys done to A, set one, and then B, hold yourself accountable to it?
And so I'll go first. My first real go around with it was last year, doing it here. And I failed miserably at it, just in terms of setting it. And then, not to quote the old infomercial, but I set it and I forget it. And so I didn't execute, but I also didn't really map it out either. So when you were talking about your coaching client, Tim, about willy-nilly, that's kind of where my head is at sometimes. It's just that kind of willy-nilly brain where, it's like, I know what the end goal is. I know what I've got to get done. And I feel like I've always kind of functioned like that. Like even when it came to, studying in college and, getting exams done, like I functioned well under the pressure of, just kind of working through the night and getting the work done and then just vegging out for a couple of days from the exhaustion of it all, but I know that that's not sustainable. You can't live your life that way, but I guess in a weird way, I kind of do that. Not that I'm cramming all night to be able to, go to work and whatnot, but, so, that's part of my goal this year is to be more intentional about having a real framework for that, and, started a business last year and really want to get that it's off the ground, but to be more intentional about the time I spend on it and mapping that out for the sake of my family too. Because it's not my first job, so I have to be mindful of the time that takes away from time spent with my family. So that's one of my goals this year is to map those things out in terms of growing a business. I don't, that's part of what Tim, I know we've talking about it. I still want to do that just because I don't necessarily know what all the next steps are, and Aaron, you might be a resource for me as well. Just knowing what you do, the business is in woodworking. So it's not quite to the level of what you do, but it's similar in that regard of just working with my hands and, and doing, installations and, different kinds of stuff. So I'd love to, I was fired up when you said, that's part of why I put you in the chat right away. Cause I'm like, I want to start talking with this guy. Cause I know there's stuff that I'm going to be able to glean. So that's my long-winded answer saying I suck at it and I need to get better. And that's why I'm here.
No, that's okay. Anybody else have anything?
I've never really set a long-term all year plan type of thing. That's why I'm kind of excited to see this. Just even, I'm having a hard time keeping up with all these push-ups that I've been doing. So, I'd like to get to running again as well, get myself back into shape. But just to set a plan up that every day, like you had, Tim, on the board, every day, you'll have so many reps or whatever you have to do. That's what I really need. I just kind of need something out in front of me. I think then I can kind of, and then, and just periodically say, hey, how's it going? How you doing on this? And accountability is a big thing for me, I think, too. So.
Yeah, one of the things, and Nick, you can go, that we're going to try, our goal, Tim and I's goal, is to not do this every 6 months, but have check-ins more frequently, because every 6 months you don't have enough time to course correct and really manage your progress. It's more regular check-ins from that. So we're going to do it much more frequently than every 6 months.
That's why, I like this plan here. It's every 12 weeks, it's by the quarter. And it's it's short enough, but then long enough as well,
Yeah.
to get some things done.
Nick, you were going to say something?
Oh no. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I was gonna say I think last year I had lots of freaking great ideas and a little bit of I don't know, I guess follow through, but at the end of the year it really fell off just with doing my YouTube channel. That was going great. And I'll never forget when the guys from oh my gosh, what's it called? The Alan and
Graceworks?
Oh,
Alan.
Grace.
Yeah, it's Graceworks. They're like, man, it's I can't believe you're starting a YouTube and all that stuff in the middle of what you got going on. I'm like, oh, this is easy. And then I started realizing how much I really had going on top of the YouTube stuff and coming home and doing my due diligence studying and stuff like that. I just freaking mentally fell off. So I think last year was really my YouTube, but ultimately was just, I guess, getting to retirement, and with the wife, with her last deployment and stuff, it seemed like this last year was a big wash. However, there's been lots of great things that's happened this last year, but it doesn't seem like anything really personally in my heart, with workouts or finishing races or any of that stuff. I don't really feel like I accomplished what I wanted to. So that's why I think this year I've been focusing on already of what I want to do, and really get a new accountability partner, and hold myself accountable for things this year. Even though I still, to this day, I have no idea where God's going to lead me after retirement. I told you guys in the past 6 months, I've been trying to get, a house, a loan just to get a house going, and now that's completely fallen through. And me and my wife are both at peace with that. Like there's no tomorrow. So obviously I think that's, at the end of the day, I think that was a blessing. But am I going to get a part-time job, a full-time job? Like there's so many things that are on the line, but I don't know. I'm just ready for a year of making things happen. I want to do 2 hard races this year, obviously 3-7, and I'm thinking about doing the mid-state mile and possibly getting a coach for that and doing things a lot smarter than what I've been doing most of my life when it comes to training. So yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is when we start to whittle things away is, as men, or at least I'll just admit me, is I would put too much on my plan for the year. It's almost like a grocery list, and just felt like I could check them off. And some of them were really easy that I could do real quick. So I had this sense of accomplishment, but then it started to taper off towards the end. And so when Tim and I discussed this process and what we wanted to focus on as a group, one, he and I needed to do it for the council and where we were going to head for the council, because we didn't go in the direction we necessarily wanted to go in 2021. And so we wanted to be more intentional about it. And so when he shares this, just think of it as, it's not a prescription, it's a guide. So everybody's going to respond differently to how they plan. And so tweak it, work with it the best way you can. Some people just need 4 Post-it notes that gives them their 4 goals for the 12 weeks, and then they'll hit it and no problem. And then other people need to get granular and put times, I think everything needs to be time bound. Otherwise it just kind of flails around. But just, let's talk through it together and figure out what works best for each one of you, because how you work, how you're going to respond to these things. And then we'll just come up with something. But we wanted to have an initial framework for everybody to follow, so at least we had commonalities to discuss.
Yeah, and I would say it's just another resource for you, if you need it. If you don't and you're crushing it with what you got, keep crushing it. But if you're not and you need something, that's why, I needed something. Because Chris, I'm like you, man. I love the pressure. I love the stress. I love feeling the heat, so to speak, because that's when I feel like I do better with more. But I also get to the point to where and then, okay, I'm ready to break. But it's not sustainable either. So, and I want to get to a point to where I have a goal and I'm working on it. Like, well, I'll share with you what we came up with. I'll go through the council's goal. These aren't my personal, these are what Jeff and I have talked about for the council.
Yeah,
So
the
I'll
big
share
and the
that.
big thing is when he's pulling that up is what he said if you like pressure, make things time bound
Yeah,
and have consequences.
yeah,
That if you don't meet it, what are the consequences going to be? And because again, a lot of times we shrug things off as like, oh well, I didn't make that goal, and
yeah.
there's no consequence to not making that goal.
So everybody can see my screen now.
Yes.
So what I'm calling this called battle plan. This, this is where, it's a battle plan. I didn't know what else to call it. So I thought, you know what? Hey, it's a plan, but we're kind of going to battle here to accomplish it. We got so many distractions, so many things vying for our attention the enemies that want to take us out. They're the little foxes out there that want to spoil the vine, right? I want my goal number one. I just called it 100 because I want 100 men. I really, truly would love to see 100 men actively participate right here. What am I wanting to achieve? So very specific. I'm wanting to achieve 100 men, active participants inside the brotherhood of the council. So goal number 2, March. So this is,
You like this one, Nick?
this is first quarter. So this is January through March. These are my activities. That's the yearly goal, but I'm going to break it down for the next 12 weeks. Okay. So maybe I should have that number different, but I put it as 100s because I want that in the forefront, and my activities that I do will lead to this. So anyway, merch, create 2 designs, resell on the website and social, event, host a battle ready event, March, You guys can read all this. The next section, goal 1, 2, 3, or 4. Why am I wanting to achieve this? Again, specifics. Why am I wanting to achieve this? Number 1, for the 100 men, because I believe this is a powerful community for men. I got some editing to do to grow in, and I want to see them grow. Like this last year, we talked about it. You guys, several of you guys have grown tremendously over this last year. Whether you feel it or not, Jeff and I have talked about it. I see it. I can name that, like
Everybody. It's everybody. It's everybody.
Everybody. You guys have all stepped up in different areas, and it's like, it's wicked cool to see that. And so anyway, I truly believe in it. Number 2, because I believe it's a cool way for others to show their support and look cool while doing so. I don't know. I thought of that. I just threw something in there, right? Why I want to achieve this. And then the next is, why am I, well, I went the wrong way. Okay. Why am I wanting to achieve it? And then, okay. So here's the action plan. What are the steps I'm going to take for goal number 1? How? Back to what Jeff had said, timely. So like this right here, I know week 2, week 7, and week 11, I need to be reaching out to everyone who follows the channels. And that means new people. So between week 2 and week 7, there'll be new people who come into our channels, who come into our network, right? Whether it's Facebook, Instagram, whatever. So reach out to them and connect with them. And so you can see each week there's different things. Now this one right here is a bi-weekly. This one's weekly. These have specific time deadlines. The merch, like week 1, create the designs. By week 4, I need to order t-shirts or order quality shirts. By week 6, I need to be printing them. And then that way I have plenty of time the rest of the time to hit the goal in a quarter, to have 2 designs out and released. And then
It's week 2 1/4. Did you create your designs yet?
I do have that. What'd you say? Week
Trying to
1?
hold you accountable. I said it's week 2. Did
We're
you
week
create
2,
your
yeah.
designs?
No, I already I have those designed. Yes.
All right.
Listen, Tim, you can't use stuff from last year into this year already. You got to scratch those designs and start over, bro.
Scratch with those designs. Okay, fine. I got 2 more designs already in my head.
No, these were new ones. These were new ones, Nick, because
All right.
Now
All
that
right.
I'm technically jobless, I'm able to help a little bit more. So
Okay.
So, so you guys are getting the point. Like I left this one here because this was a book thing. This was for books. Well, week 1, what am I going to do? I'm going to list out the books that I want to read. Week 1, 5, and 9, I'm going to request those choices of books from the local library or order them, whatever. Read at least 10 minutes a day, 5 days a week, 4 to 5 days a week, and that's weekly. So you kind of get the picture of this plan here. This is actually getting very specific on the plan. Like
yeah, and the
specific on the
plan,
goals.
yeah,
Huh?
I was just going to say the way it's laid out is, again, it's very basic, and you can take this as intricate as you want. You can get as detailed as you want
Yeah.
with your dates and your time bound. And then the next thing that Tim put together, I'm not going to take ownership of it, is the scorecard.
Scorecard. Yeah. So let me explain that real quick, because scorecard, let me read something to you, like the keeping score. Measurement drives the execution process. And I wrote that over here on this here, because what we don't measure, we do not manage. You guys have probably heard me say that a few times. And measurement drives execution process. So if we're not measuring anything, how are we even managing what we're doing? Like, how do we manage the activities to achieving that goal? If I'm not measuring my runs or measuring my time or my heart rate, how do I know that I'm hitting my target heart rate if I'm not measuring it? So measuring is a must. So scorecards are huge. They've been obviously found very productive in processes and whatnot. So here I created just the Warrior Weekly Battle. So you could print this out each week and kind of have something to check. So this one here is more like kind of what this here, kind of jotting
The
down
foundation. Yeah, this is the foundation to get you started, to get you
and
to the
then
scorecard.
instead of using I use this board over here. So I would take a green pen and I would check it. So that's what kind of this scorecard, the battle plan scorecard, is kind of designed to do. And this could be anything in your life, right? But down below here, I thought, you could be working on other things like we did for the council. But yeah, I can't neglect my health. I can't neglect my mental, maintaining my mind, my love with my wife, my family, my friends, my mission, experiences, doing things that I find joy in, my spirit man, spending time with God in prayer or worship, so my finances, dealing with it. Like, what did I do this week to benefit my finances or to help my finances? Learning, like, what did I do to learn something new, whether it was for my battle plan or something else? And hopefully it's in line with your battle plan. But down here, I just wrote, score yourself from 1 to 5, and each of the areas, 5 being my best effort. Like, you gave your best effort in those areas. Make sure that you're honest with yourself and fair. Tally the score and multiply by 2 to get a score out at 100. So like it could be 65 to 100. That way, it's just a quick check-in or spot check on your life. Like, where am I at? Am I even thinking about my finances? Am I even thinking about my spiritual walk with God this week? Did I go through the week and give my best effort towards those things, or did I not? So most of us on this call is married, but like for guys who aren't married, this could be, kind of them relating their relationship and how well they showed love towards others and how well they related with other people in their lives, the other relationships. So any questions? Anybody else done a scorecard or kept score? I mean, we do it in sports. Yeah.
Yeah, I've kept a lot of scores, but I had nothing to do with it. It's all fleshly scores.
I knew you were coming
Question.
back to that.
So one, you're willing to send this to us in an email?
Yeah, so I have this in, obviously, as you can see, Excel form or Google Sheets. I use Google Sheets, but it's an Excel doc. So either way, it'll work for both of you, or whether you got Excel or Google Sheets. And then we also have it in PDF form.
Okay, so that was gonna be my second question is, are you gonna send it to us willing to where we could actually change things around a little bit if we wanted to?
Yeah. So like, I'm going to send you, I can send you you guys will get a link to this here. You can just download it. You just say, create a copy yourself.
Well, we're definitely going to send it, because that's going to be part of the task for next week, is to start that first battle plan and come. So the first level of accountability is to share that. I didn't mean to cut you off, Tim. It's just close to 9. Is to put that first plan and work on that, because you've got some time, and go ahead and jump in and start using the scorecard. I know that's something that I'm going to do as well, because then on the 24th, we want you guys to repeat, report back on what you've done and the process. And then, because that's going to be the free call. So we want to show people what we're doing in the first quarter, and then also offer them the opportunity to take advantage of this as well. But then just talk about, the process, like how did it feel to make these goals, and where's your level of making them SMART, meaning that they're specific, measurable, actionable, result bound, and time bound. And move into that.
Yeah. And I'll just say, because we are short on time, we want to be respectful, because I know that there's a game on. Some of you might want to be wanting to go check that game out.
Oh, y'all, that was a great play.
I'll definitely be checking it out. Thank you, Brad. I was going to ask you what the score was.
I've got to study. I'm not watching any football games.
But I'll definitely, we'll get you the links on these here, so you can download these. It'll be to our Google Drive. And then I was going to offer up a separate call for guys. Any of you who want to kind of meet separately, we'll find a night that works, and we'll go through the 12-week plan, 12-week year, and we'll work on these plans. And that way we can kind of stay hyper-focused on achieving our goals. And then the other thing that I was going to say is, we want to start creating, we did it last year for a little bit, but want to be much more intentional about it this year. And that's creating battle buddies. And so we'll probably do some sort of, let's do this. Message me, or just message inside the chat reel thread, like if you would like to do the 12-week call. We'll just call it that. And then and that'll be a sense of accountability within that. But then those who aren't, we'll set up separate battle buddies for them as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm in there by myself, that's cool. We'll still get you a battle buddy so that you guys can work together.
Where'd you get the book? Off Amazon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of great books. I know Tim and I have talked about that one. We've talked about the 4 disciplines of execution. That's a game changer. It was a huge game changer for me. So just, again, there's a ton. James Clear, Atomic Habits is another great one. It's really easy to follow as well. It's not, laid out, but you can incorporate that mindset with these tools. So definitely find something that works for you, and never feel like, I know you said it, Nick, just a second ago, that you can add or take away or do those different types of things. But before we close, and I'll let Tim jump in just a second, is we wanted to issue a challenge with you guys. Two things is, one, if you're going to make it for the 24th call, please register. And then that way, because it's going to be a separate link from our normal link, since it's the free call. And because we want to keep this link sacred so people aren't able to jump in. And then the other thing is, Brad, I know you mentioned it. Chris, you've mentioned it. Think about people that in your friendship circle, in your sphere of influence, that you feel could benefit from the counsel. We've all seen benefits individually, and we've seen it as a group. And so what we would like to do is just issue guys the challenge to invite somebody and allow them to come in, see what it's like. It might not be for them. It's not for everybody, but it is for more than who we've got here. And there's just people that just need to know about it. And so we just ask you guys to evangelize about the council and show people and tell people why it's good and the benefits that you guys have received from it so far.
Yeah, and then those who would like, who went through all of last year and don't mind sharing just a couple of minutes, some thoughts on like what you took away on the next call, because the next call will be, we'll go over kind of battle plan. We'll have right now, this is wicked cool. We'd love to have more, obviously, but we got about 10 to 11 new guys that are interested that are coming on the 24th. Right now they've registered. And so now granted, probably 5 of those will show up. You know how that happens. Sometimes it's like you get more registered than that show. So, but that's cool. The idea is to give them kind of a snippet or a sneak peek as to like what we're doing. So we'll go over our battle plan, as Jeff mentioned earlier, but then probably the last half hour or ish, maybe 20 minutes or so, we'll give them a sneak peek into like, you know, the other benefits of being a part, like how do we communicate like during the week, you know, so give them a sneak peek of the app, like, hey, this is a forum that guys will have have access to, and things like that. So we'll give them kind of an idea of that. Any questions, comments, thoughts?
Yeah, my question is when are you going to have that email sent out?
I'm going to send it to you in the chat. I'm going to put it in the chat. It's just going to
No,
be.
I need, no.
You need an email?
I need a day that this is going to be sent out.
Linda,
Because
listen.
listen, I'm challenging you so you don't say like, well, I got busy
No,
and I wasn't able to do
I'm going to
it.
send you the link to download these tonight as soon as we're done here.
Because I can't improve myself unless you help me by sending me stuff.
You're funny.
He
I'm
said
going to.
Linda.
Seriously, do you need it in an email form? I'll send it to you.
Linda.
No,
Okay.
I don't. No, I
Okay.
just want to be able to, I just want to be able to print it up because I am going to use this, and this is perfect as I'm sitting down at night and I'm thinking about planning out my year. This is what I need right now.
Yeah.
I agree.
You'll notice I didn't show you guys, but there's a tab at the bottom. So there's Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So your goal, your overall arching goal for the year, you can break that down into quarters so you can achieve it better. If that makes sense? So, all right, Nick, you'll have it here in just a few minutes.
Love you, buddy.
All right, love you. All right, guys. Any other closing thoughts? Anybody want to close us in prayer? Anyone?
Yeah, I'll
Yeah, I
close
will.
it. Oh,
Right.
you got it, Ben.
All right.
Go, Ben.
Dear Lord, Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you so much for this group of guys, Lord, and how much they mean to me. Lord, I just want to thank you for our families that we lead each and every day. And Lord, I just pray that you'll just be with them through anything, sickness, whatever it may be, Lord. And I just thank you for healing my family this last week, Lord. Be with us as we go our separate directions, and watch over us, keep us safe. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Last, in closing, I'll say this, Proverbs 16:3 says, commit your actions to the Lord and your plans will succeed. So I love that because it requires us to take some ownership of our plan and our actions and submit those to him. So Georgia must have scored. We'll leave it at that because I saw a fist bump or pound with Brad. All right.
Not
All right,
yet, I don't think.
guys. See you guys in a few weeks. Hey, message me. I'll send you a message in the chat, and then message me if you want to do a group, a separate group. We'll put something together.
So we need to do it on the app
Yep.
and just put 12 weeks.
Yeah, you can just message me, just say 12 week, or say, hey, I'm in on the 12 weeks. Yeah, just let me
Okay.
know.
Sounds good.
All right. Cool, guys.
See y'all. Welcome,
you, guys.
Aaron.
Let's.
See you guys.
Welcome,
Yeah,
Aaron.
welcome, Aaron.
Woo-hoo.
We'll be talking.
All
Yeah, we
right.
will.
See you guys.
Bye.